Today's Redstone video is going to be a bit of an interesting one because in this one we are going to be building things from real life in Minecraft. Now the first thing that we're going to take a look at in today's video is the realistic item elevator, because currently in Minecraft, well, let's just say that item elevators aren't particularly realistic, are they? I mean, can you imagine if factories actually used bubble elevators to move things around factories? I mean, it would be very entertaining, don't get me wrong, but I don't think that your new iPhone will be working quite as well. So my idea is to create sort of like a conveyor belt for the items, making use of trapdoors. So if we just grab ourselves some iron trapdoors, those things, they're kind of going to stack up like this, and then this little dropper right here is going to shoot out a handful of items that will sit in this little packet, and then it will be sent up through this chamber. And I have to say, I actually think this is going to end up looking really, really cool. Okay, so the first part is now done, which is the actual transfer of our trapdoors making their way around like this. So you can see that we have got a long line of trapdoors all cycling around like this, but the most important part is all of the trapdoors through here, which is going to look so cool when we have little packets of items traveling up. Okay, next up we need to work out the dropper system. And I'll be totally honest, I mean, how difficult does this have to be? If I just do an auto hopper right now, is that just going to work straight off the bat, or are we going to have to do something smarter? Well, I guess we're about to find out, because I am now activating this thing, so this is now an automated process, and if we dump a bunch of items on the inside of here... That is the coolest thing ever! I kind of want to transfer items like this from this point forth. I mean, this is fantastic. Now, you may notice, what are we going to do up at the top right here? I'll get onto that in the next couple seconds, but please, let me just have this moment where we have an actual item elevator that looks like an item elevator. Oh, that's so cool. I kind of want them to remove bubble elevators, so we have to do this sort of thing. Anyway, up at the top here, we need the part that actually removes the items, and I thought we could do something a little bit like this. So we get a little water stream that pops out and then gets retracted, but in that time, it will push the items across onto this ice and allow them to move off into their water stream. Hopefully that works. We've just got to do some timing. I gotta say, I think this might be one of the most well-engineered things I've ever made. So down at the bottom here, we've got ourselves the input chest, and let's say, for example, we put in 24 items on the inside. Then we wait for a little while, and as you can see, the system will begin to activate, and those 24 items will begin to make their way up to the top. Now you can see that I've got my water stream system in place, and that is all working perfectly. So our little packets of items are being pushed across into the water streams, they make their way across, and then as soon as the last items come up, the system turns off. So no lag, no extra anything, it just hits here nice and quiet, and then as soon as you want to put items through, that's when the whole thing kicks back into action. Oh, I could watch this all day long. Oh, and for anyone who's doubting the reliability, as you can see, it's working perfectly. We put 2 badges in, 24 and 12, and we've ended up with 36, which for those of you who know maths, you will know that that's correct. I also checked it with a calculator. Sometimes you just have to double check, don't you? Anyway, we're now going to be moving on to the next idea of today's video, which is the realistic oven. So I want to have an oven that sort of works like a real oven. I mean, this is more of like an old school pizza oven right here, but I have to admit, it looks really, really cool. And I'd love to be able to throw some raw steak into this thing and then have it be cooked into actual steak and then shot back out at me, all whilst kind of retaining its style. The first thing is easy. I want to make sure that the item doesn't actually get picked up by the hopper until we close the door. So we open this thing up. When we throw in an item, it will kind of sit in the oven. It is there, you just can't quite see it, but then when we flick the lever, that's when it gets pulled down. A small detail, but I like it. The slightly more complicated detail that I want to work on is I want the campfire to be switched off unless there is an item cooking. When the item is cooking, then the campfire will be turned on and there will be flames there. That could be tricky. But with some smart redstone engineering, we have managed to make that part work. And I gotta say, it looks fantastic. You'll see that in the next couple seconds. But for now, I'm working on the item elevator circuitry, which as you can see, is beginning to get a little bit colossal. I mean, there's definitely a more compact way to do this, but we need to be able to take redstone outputs from certain sections of it to activate other parts of the circuit, so that's why it's ended up being so much bigger. Anyway, the part that I'm working on now is it actually being shot out into the oven area, so I want it to actually sit in the oven. So we're going to have to lock this hopper again, and then that hopper will only unlock once you've actually opened up the trapdoor, then closed it again, and you've retracted your steak from the oven. It's a little bit involved, isn't it? I mean, just look at this mess. Look at this mess for something that is purely decorative. Anyway, let's give it a go, because I have to say it is incredibly satisfying. Alright, so we open this little thing up, we chuck in our raw beef that is sat in the oven right there, we flick the lever, and the oven has now kicked into action, and it is cooking up our steak. So as we talk, that steak is being cooked, prepared beautifully by our fantastic oven, and then there it is. It has been produced, so we can pick it up from the oven and we can close everything up and we can use it again if we want to. I mean, this, once again, this might just be one of the best things I've ever made, even if it is totally and utterly pointless. It might be one of the most pointless things I've ever made as well. But something that isn't totally pointless is a garage door, because if you had a garage without a garage door, then it wouldn't be a garage. It would just be a room with a car in it that you can't get out. So they're kind of necessary. No, I'm not sure they're so necessary in Minecraft, given that there aren't really that many cars flying around. But with that being said, it does seem like a fun project to work on. So I think I've come up with an idea for how to make this super compact. And it should end up actually being really quite cool. So let's see if we can actually pull this thing off. Well, that's not exactly the best. I mean, okay, no, I'm saying it's not the best start. It wasn't. I mean, yeah, the garage door going through the roof isn't ideal, okay, but it shows promise. So now that I've got that fixed up, and I've redone a little bit of the wiring, and only a tiny bit, because so far this is not complicated in the slightest, I think we might actually be onto something here. So if I fill in all of the blocks for our little garage here, and just patch up the roof a tiny bit, and flick this lever. Did you see how fast the garage opens? Now, as you can see, we're making use of the Minecraft 1.40 mechanic that we can actually duck underneath half slabs now. And I have to say, that really completes the look of the garage door. Like, this looks like an open garage right here, which is pretty cool. And it is ridiculous how fast this thing is. I mean, seriously, I don't even know what to say. And actually, if we do something like this, and then we were to hook up this redstone line somehow to these pistons, we could actually create something almost inside this footprint. This has proven to be really difficult because I'm trying my best to make it super compact. I don't know why I do these things. Okay, I really don't. But I mean, okay, let's see if the opening still works. No. Oh gosh, what have I done? What have I done to that? I've done... Oh, what did I do? Things are getting weird with this redstone circuitry. Alright, I mean, will that work? Let's see if the timings even look remotely correct. They kind of did. So let's see. No. What is going on? A lot of pulling of hair out later. I think we have finally got it working. Yes, there is the closing. Oh my word, this actually works. That has taken far longer than I care to admit. So let's fill in all of these blocks right here to replace these pistons, get our slab in place, get our garage door fully constructed. This is a really cool build. I mean, it's so compact. It is absolutely tiny. So if we flick this lever right here, you can see our garage door opens up, allows us to walk on through or park a very low vehicle on the inside of there. And then when we flick this lever, everything closes back down. Man, I am so proud of all the things that we've managed to construct. in today's Redstone video, we've come up with some really interesting stuff. These two, tiny bit on the pointless side. This one, genuinely very proud of, incredibly compact, very small garage door design. I mean, this has all worked out incredibly well. So, I really do hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.